Hey, Shalom, Shalom, Shalom. This is Naaman with the Great Millstone Camp here in DC, back for another video. But first and foremost, call all Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua, Bahashem Rakah Kodash. And of course, double honors go out to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations also go out to the fellow Akim that are out there on the highways and byways, week in and week out, pushing the truth, all right, across the four corners of the earth. Aided, of course, by the many works in the forms of videos that go out over the airwaves and various social media outlets. All right. So the word has gotten out. There's no excuse. There really isn't. You've got us out there on the highways and byways. And if you have questions, ask them. All right. That's what we're here for while the time allows it. All right. Because there is coming a time, according to Amos 8, verses 11 and 12. All right. Where they're going to shut us down. This is what's going on now with the issues the JOO's pushing for, or I should say attacking America's First Amendment rights, which you cherish so much. All right. Because what? The same thing over in Europe. What has happened? You've had, for the longest time, those that are deemed as Holocaust deniers. They've had things in place to deal with that over there. You get fined or imprisoned or both for being a denier, for being a critical thinker, for knowing that that was a big hoax. But they've used that, and it has made them very wealthy, and it's given them a whole lot of power. Over here in America, where, again, your First Amendment rights were cherished and you could say anything you want, you've noticed lately, especially after October of 2023, they're clamping down on that. All right. Even your politicians are running scared, the cowards that they have proven to be, those that you've chosen to represent you. But let's go ahead and get the copyright disclaimer out of the way. It says under Section 101 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statutes that may otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips to balance in favor of fair use. Fair use, fair use. All right. So what we have here as a result of the things that I just mentioned, so many of Americans, those especially, have signed up to what they thought was to defend America, or I've come to the conclusion that that's not the case, that the people whose interests they're fighting for is another nation. And let's face it, this is a nation that the way it operates, it's got its hooks into a vast majority of your politicians here. They are and have proven to be spineless when dealing with, I should say, the actual threat, which we know is not Iran, and have known that, even though you'll see in several, or I should say in certain newscasts, that propaganda is still geared toward having these Iranians as the bad guy, and they've never attacked anybody in well over 200 years. And people are seeing that now, that this is not in the interest of the United States, as I just stated. It's for this other rogue nation, dare I say. But these are the people that actually run the world. All right. And these Americans, all right, certain of them have known this for a very long time. But these others that were like, you know the type. All these conspiracy theories. This is how now it's not such a conspiracy, huh? So here we have, this is from ABC News. It says Navy faces scrutiny over USS Abraham Lincoln sailors' well-being. All right, so of course, and we're going to get to that, the Defense Department and the administration is denying this, of course. So let's go ahead and roll the video. And just remember, all these prophecies have been playing out. There's only a few, very few remaining. All right. And the times that we're in now, yeah, it's also prophecy. You're going to have those that are coming against us, because you got to understand who's behind all of this. The constant attacks. These people have told lies for decades. All right. And these lies are being exposed, primarily those concerning who's who when it comes to Israelites. So they've enjoyed this power that they have acquired because of the lie. They've also the wealth that it's garnered them. You think they want that to go away? So who is the actual threat to them? So now you're going to see a crackdown. All right, you're going to see Amos chapter 8, verse 11. All right, and as a consequence, verse 12, because a lot of you are going to realize too late that the people out there risking it all for you, all right, Jake, we're actually trying to help you. All right, so here we go.
Connecticut Senator Richard Blumenthal, now among Democrats raising concerns about the well-being of our sailors aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln. That lawmaker sending a letter to Defense Secretary Hegseth and the Navy's acting secretary requesting that they answer questions on whether the Navy is able to properly care for service members. It comes amid reports that the sailors are exhausted and being pushed to the brink. The Military Times also reporting at least one family is alleging a sailor attempted to go overboard on the Abe Lincoln. Responding to those reports, the Navy says we have not identified an increase in reported suicidal ideation or suicide attempts aboard the ship.
Yeah, okay. What did you expect them to say?
Louis Martinez for more. It's interesting just the verbiage in that quote. We have not identified an increase in reported suicidal ideation or suicide attempts aboard the ship. They didn't completely deny or confirm. It's interesting the words that they choose to use. So let's talk about the demands and what we're hearing, from the Navy at this point. What the sailors are saying, what the military time.
And this too is a way that America has operated. The how they talk, not revealing their hands, so to speak, neither confirming nor denying. All right. Called plausible deniability. All right. Let's see what we got here. Plausible deniability is the ability of a person or organization to deny a connection, knowledge, responsibility, or involvement to a controversial action in a manner that cannot be conclusively disproved. All right.
Times is reporting and how this is really pushing this story forward.
Well, Kara, we should point out that this suicidal ideation is something that actually happens across the entire military force, not just aboard ships at sea. When we talked to a U.S. official, they pointed that it is not uncommon for sailors to be aboard a ship that, yes, there will be some reports of suicidal ideation, either comments that they've made or comments that are overheard by others, or that they self-report, or maybe even attempts at suicidal ideation. But typically what happens is that we see these reports happen towards the start of a deployment. And what we are hearing from a U.S. official is that over the last 9 months, the numbers actually have gone down, and that it is they don't corroborate what has been implied in some reports, that the longer that this deployment has taken place, that there's been an increase with regards to suicidal ideation. I spoke with another official who did confirm that, yes, there was one sailor who was reported overboard last month and was quickly recovered at sea, but that incident is under investigation right now to determine intent. We also have learned from that official that re-enlistment, which would be an indicator of morale aboard the ship, is up in recent months, which would kind of be at odds with the notion that the longer that the ship is at sea, that morale is going to be impacted. But I guess we should point out again, this ship was diverted to the Middle East. It did not make a port of call in between for more than 210 days. That is a long length of time. And so, yes, there's going to be concerns when you're dealing day in and day out with the same kind of operations. I know you've seen it firsthand being aboard an aircraft carrier. That can be really intense in a time of war.
Yeah, no, and that's a really good point. And I think that a lot has changed. I was on the Abraham Lincoln during Operation Iraqi Freedom. And, over 20 years, there have been a lot of changes with regard to mental health. We've reported on everything from PTS to suicide to all the challenges the military deals with. And we know now that there are people on these ships, mental health folks and resources and even chaplains. And so, it's, I guess, moving forward, and we are going to have, by the way, the editor-in-chief of the Military Times on in the next hour. Do you think, through your sources, and also, you cover the Pentagon, you've been doing this a very long time, do you think this story will help sailors and even other service members when it comes to mental health? Do you think this story is finally broken? Will it do something? Do you get a sense that now members of the military will be proactive in trying to help all our men and women that are having a tough time when you're out at sea for long periods of time, not knowing when you're going to be home?
Especially when it's unexpected, right, Kara? And you're right. Over the last 20 years, what we've seen is an incredible focus by the U.S. military in trying to enhance and improve access to military care, because the realization came, unfortunately, at some cost, that a mentally healthy soldier, service member.
Yeah, then you got to question just who is this guy? All right, because let's get this. It's like I say, in most things, especially when you're dealing with, wrong one. It's what they're not telling you. All right. That's the most important thing. Why? All right. Are these people freaking out? USS Abraham Lincoln. Crew members are enduring a record-breaking deployment of over 260 days at sea, leading to severe physical and mental health crisis. Okay. Combat in and of itself is very stressful, yes, but there's certain things that are happening that compound this. The 5,000-person crew has faced extended combat. Yeah, aircraft carriers are big, or cities on the sea, more or less. All right, been around them. Huge motherfuckers. All right, extended combat operations in the Middle East with minimal port calls, resulting in extreme fatigue, food shortages, and deteriorating living conditions. Reports from sailors and families highlight critical supply issues, including food, it says rations of half a cup of rice, rotten meat, and a lack of fresh produce or milk for months. Hygiene, moldy showers, broken toilets, laundry facilities down for weeks, and shortages of soap and toothpaste. What was the other carrier? Was it the Gerald R. Ford that fire was reportedly set? I got to check up on that one. I just remembered just now that it was something wrong with another aircraft carrier. Mental health. Multiple reports of suicidal ideation and at least one confirmed case of a sailor jumping overboard, which he just mentioned. Though the Navy denies an increase in suicide attempts. The deployment, originally scheduled to end in May 2026, May, June, July, August, all right, so it's practically 3 months overdue, has been repeatedly extended amid ongoing operations against Iran. While the Navy states that health and well-being are priorities and that traditional supply hubs were disrupted by combat, families and lawmakers continue to press for improved conditions and return home. Really? See, here's the thing. When it comes to competency, and even the scriptures when it goes into it, let's get it real quick. automatically the U.S. is on the wrong side of this. Who are they allied with? The JOOs, the state of Israel, not the nation, the state of Israel. So automatically on the wrong side of this. This is Deuteronomy 20:1. All right, it says laws concerning warfare. When thou goest out to battle against thine enemies, and seest horses and chariots and a people more than thou, be not afraid of them. For the Most High, whose name is Yahweh, thy God, not everybody on earth's God, but the nation of Israel's God, is with thee, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. So automatically right there, and when we go over here to the commentary, which I will caution you against, but just this time they happen to be right, all right? It says, basically the whole chapter, it says the priest's exhortation to encourage the people to battle. Which people? Israel, right? Now here's what I wanted to read to you. It says, when thou goest out to battle against thine enemies, in the approaching invasion of Canaan, or in any just and defensive war, again, we're talking about, this pertains to the Israelites, not the Israelis, the Israelites. The Israelites had reason to expect the presence and favor of the Most High, whose name is Yahweh and is the God of the Israelites. Now, what do we have going on here? We have a country, being the U.S., that attacked another country at the behest of people pretending to be the chosen. So this protection does not extend to them by the God of Israel. The great pretenders, like but again, all these prophecies are happening, which would include this one that's signifying their downfall, and how these other nations, formerly their allies, are turning against them. You know, the statue in Daniel with the head of gold, the arms and chest of silver, and then the thighs, the bronze. You know, that statue, and the feet, iron mixed with miry clay. Which is what the phase that we're in now. All these allies, all right, look at them. I left out the brass, but you understand. So it's like, wow. Let's go there real quick, because I don't want it to be said that, you know, you get to talking and, all right. All right. Just in case I skipped over something, I want it to be correct. All right. Here it is. In the dream. Because remember here, his own wise men, talking about the king, all right, couldn't interpret the dream. So they called in Daniel. Here it is. Verse 24. Therefore Daniel went, well, let's start 23. It says, I thank thee and praise thee, O thou God of my fathers, who hast given me wisdom and might, and hast made known unto me now what we desired of thee, for thou hast now made known unto us the king's matter. Therefore Daniel went in unto Arioch, whom the king had ordained to destroy the wise men of Babylon. He went and said thus unto him, destroy not the wise men of Babylon, bring me in before the king, and I will shew unto the king the interpretation. Then Arioch brought in Daniel before the king in haste, and said thus unto him, I have found a man of the captives of Judah, that will make known unto the king the interpretation. The king answered and said unto Daniel, whose name was Belshazzar, art thou able to make known unto me the dream which I have seen, and the interpretation thereof? Daniel answered in the presence of the king and said, the secret which the king hath demanded cannot the wise men, the astrologers, the magicians, the soothsayers, shew unto thee? But there is a God in heaven that revealeth secrets, and maketh known to the king Nebuchadnezzar what shall be in the latter days. Thy dream and the vision of thy head upon thy bed are these. All right. So let's get down, just go and describe the statue. Verse 32. This image's head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay. All right. So that's the statue. I had mangled, but you get the point. That's why I went on ahead and went directly to the scriptures. That's what you're supposed to do. Correct yourself if correction need be. All right. So now you've got, like I say, we're in that phase now where these allies are turning on this devil. All right. Because even his fellow Edomites, they despise America. And rightfully so, because they find out that whenever America has gotten a chance, they screwed them over. All this is being revealed. And again, that's scripture. Even when you go to Obadiah, it tells you about those that were once confederate with thee. Let's hold on. And so we go to Obadiah here, I believe it's 7 and 8. Edom will be humbled, and we're in that process of that being done now as I speak. So when we get down here to 7, it says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee, because they're tired of America's shit. All right. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound unto thee. There is none understanding in him. Shall I not, verse 8, shall I not in that day, said the Most High, Yahweh, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau? This is why things that used to go so well with this devil, as far as, his pertaining to his craftiness, not being discovered in his antics behind the scenes, his wickedness everything's being exposed now, especially with technology such as it is. All right. The internet. Oh, that's a big one. And now you've got to include, this AI crap. You really can't tell what is real or not. And it's getting better every day as far as the AI concerned. All right. But we know the scripture said he's not going to be able to deceive the elect. All right. And there's a scripture there about not, in Sirach 12, not trusting your enemy. But in this, you've got all these people. See, I had it. What did I put? Let's see. No, that wasn't it. Doggone it. Let's see. Is this it? Yeah. It goes into morale. All right. Oops. Sorry about that. Morale, generally defined, is a state of mind that either encourages or impedes action. The greatest combat commanders have always understood that morale reflects the mental, moral, and physical condition of their troops. And again, from the beginning, with this administration, to show you how fucked up they are. They get rid of senior leadership, which included a lot of Jakes. At the top, you had the Joint Chief, which was an Air Force. He was the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Got rid of him. So there goes your experience. Other senior leadership. And it's like, what the hell are you doing? This is... And you got this guy that, yes, he was an officer. I think he was but I mean, not to the extent that he would know how to be the Secretary of Defense. Nowhere near qualified. But see, this is where your racism, all right, has been used against you. And quite frankly, you don't deserve us, all right, helping you in anything. We don't even need to be around each other. You are our enemy, all right? It says these conditions in turn directly relate to the troops' courage, confidence, discipline, enthusiasm, and willingness to endure the sacrifices and hardships of military duty. Troops with high morale can operate, even succeed against high odds in all kinds of conditions. Poor morale can lead to failure even when odds favor victory. At a basic level, good morale allows soldiers to overcome fear. And I had started to go into, and I'm going to finish Deuteronomy 20th chapter. So let's go back there. All right, Deuteronomy 20. I read 1. Let's read it again. When thou goest out to battle against thine enemies, and seest horses and chariots and a people more than thou, because we had gone over the Maccabees, and this happened a lot. Be not afraid of them, for the Most High Yahweh thy God is with thee, and which brought thee out of the land of Egypt. 2. And it shall be when ye are come nigh unto the battle, that the priest shall approach and speak unto the people. All right, and they have, and everybody knows of the chaplains and everything like that. But again, that doesn't matter because you're not Israel. All right, and shall say unto them, Hear, O Israel, ye approach this day into battle against your enemies. Let not your hearts faint, fear not, and do not tremble, neither be ye terrified because of them. All right. For the Most High Yahweh your God is he that goeth with you to fight for you against your enemies, to save you. And the officer shall speak unto the people, saying, What man is there that hath built a new house, and hath not dedicated it? Let him go and return to his house, lest he die in the battle, and another man dedicate it. See, and this is, you had, again, things in place, such as what we're reading here, to weed out certain individuals that didn't belong. All right, because what? Other things would be on their mind than the battle, which their mind should be totally focused on. So here's one right here. It says, What man is there that hath built a new house, and hath not dedicated it? Let him go and return to his house, lest he die in battle, and another man dedicate it. Here's another one. And what man is he that hath planted a vineyard, and hath not yet eaten of it? Let him also go and return unto his house, lest he die in the battle. All right, and another man eat of it. Let's see. All right. Let's see. And here's a big one. Because while I was in the service, you had so many that got these Dear John letters. All right. Verse 7. Oh boy. And what man is there that hath betrothed a wife, and hath not taken her? Let him go and return unto his house, lest he die in the battle, and another man take her. And the officer shall speak further unto the people, and they shall say, What man is there that is fearful and faint-hearted? Let him go and return unto his house, lest his brethren's heart faint as well as his heart. Now, you might wonder, why are you reading this? Well, the reason I'm doing it because too many people, especially in America, sign up for the military, and I alluded to this earlier, for the wrong reasons. Oh, I'm going to get an education, which is a big one. All right, but you're signing up into the military. It didn't occur to you that at some point it just might be a conflict or war, whatever, police action. This is the military. And as was shown some years ago, when you had a bunch of them hiding up under a table, screaming and crying and shit, that was not a very good look. For those of you that recall what I'm trying to describe here, because I can't remember exactly where when it was. I just remember it being broadcast on TV, which, to say the least, had to be embarrassing. All right, but it showed you the type of individuals that, um, and this is aside from uh, what's going on with um, people being on the heavy side here in America. It's another hurdle. But as far as the mental aspect of it, yeah, you know, these are the people that are beside you. So that's why I read Deuteronomy there, because there's a criteria. All right. And it's just like, as long as there's a body, and it's going to get worse because December, that thing with that situation where selective service is no longer. I do believe we'll have a draft before then, or at some future point. I can't say exactly what, because these bullies over there in the state of Israel are not going to let up. They want total control of that region. This is, again, when we tell you things never change, this is colonization. This is the same mentality of a people, and this has been going on since 1400s with Columbus and those in a few years prior. This is what's been going on for hundreds of years now. That mindset. They're not going to stop. They're going to have to be stopped. And this is the time that we're coming up on. You know, we're trying to warn our people. All right. This is not going to stop. It's only going to get worse. All right. You're seeing what he's doing with this immigration, and it just came across the wire that ICE is getting these gloves to where they're basically stun gun gloves. So this, and then you have, let's see, hold on, let's get Joshua. All right. So we'll go to verse 9. Have I not commanded thee, be strong and of good courage, be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed, for the Most High Yahweh thy God is with thee, whithersoever thou goest. Again, but when he's against you, as in America, as in that demonic state of Israel, you got to look at the flip side of things. This is about balance at the end of the day. All right. And you foolishly think that you're on the right side of this. I mean, it's like when we say, what the hell are you smoking or eating or whatever? These people are just evil. And your time is coming to an end. How many times have we stressed that? And that's scriptural. This is the times we're in now. Revelation 12th chapter. All right. Verse 12. Woe to the inhabitants of the world, of the earth, for the devil is come down with, let's get it. All right. You think that he's just going, the woman and the dragon. The woman is the nation of Israel. The dragon, yeah. It's not talking about a spirit, it's talking about a people. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devil, we're talking about a people, is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. This is it. Every kingdom has had an end. And Job 14:5 tells you that. Let's get that. All right. And he's got scholars. All right. He has even these amongst the wicked of, these rabbis and things of that nature. They know. It says, seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. There's a point. All right. Coming up very quickly. To where his kingdom ends. And that's the question I pose on certain videos that I've done. Knowing the wickedness these people have done to gain their wealth and their power, what do you think they're going to do in order to hold on to that? Basic question. Well, the scriptures tell you. Daniel 12:1. There's coming a time. Isaiah 13 is another one. There's coming a time where with all you've experienced and read about and seen regarding history and all the atrocities, there's coming a time in the very near future that's going to pale in comparison to what's going to be. Let's get that, as a matter of fact. It's Daniel 12:1, the time of the end. And at that time shall Michael, the archangel, stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people, not everybody. This is about Israel. And there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. Because this man is going to be, you think he wants to go down? You think he wants to experience what he's put others through? That's great motivation, wouldn't you think? Yeah. So for those of you that think this is a joke, hey, keep thinking that. So look at all this. They're going to try to deny deplorable living conditions reported aboard the USS Lincoln. This all within the last 2-3 hours. Stop this war. Veteran representative, he's the one that they were speaking of that sent that letter. Reacts to disturbing reports on USS Lincoln. All right. Multiple sailors on USS Abraham Lincoln tried to go overboard amid extended deployment. Joe slams Hegseth for abysmal conditions on USS Lincoln, treating our sailors like trash. All these, you mean tell me all these people are lying? Concerns emerging over conditions aboard USS Abraham Lincoln. Senate Democrats demand answers about conditions on board USS Abraham Lincoln. And you get into this political bullshit, all right, so they can get votes. 5,000 USS troops trapped on USS Abraham Lincoln, flooding toilets and no rations, reality revealed. Senators demand answers about conditions aboard USS Abraham Lincoln. Look at that. Yeah, all these people are lying, right? Trump ignoring U.S. troops, food shortages, brawl, rattle, USS Abraham Lincoln. All right. Look at this. USS, this is 1 hour ago, USS Lincoln to come home from Middle East. All right. All right. So, yeah, that's all I had on this. And I've heard that also, not heard, but I saw it flash across my phone. This is yesterday about Iran is just trying to wait out Trump. So you've got another, what, roughly 2 years almost. Wow. And they're already running real low on fuel here. All that we've talked about as far as, because especially with the diesel, how do you get your goods into your stores? So it's going to be rough here coming into the colder months. If before the summer ends. All right, so all that we've told you, is actually the scriptures. All right, it's coming to pass. For those of you that think this is a joke, all right, and these things that your preacher aren't telling you because he's incapable of doing so, because the Spirit is not working with them. And you all in these churches are going to learn the hard way that your pastors were set up as a means to control you. It has nothing to do about your salvation. It never did. All right. So with that, I hope everyone has been edified. Once again, we're dealing with, the situation where these troops are like, and the sentiment of the American people. And this is going to cause more division, of course. And then you got these people that are playing politics with it. And, they're playing this game, and people are tired.